Hello and welcome to Runkle to the Bailey. My name is Ian Runkle. I'm a Canadian criminal defense and firearms lawyer. Once you start to learn about guns, one thing that'll happen is you'll see things in movies and video games and the news and so forth that'll just get on your nerves because it's people who think they know guns getting it wrong. And so with that in mind, I thought I'd do a little walkthrough and kind of review of a shooting range that appears in a video game. The video game is 7 Days to Die. It's actually quite a good game. I like it a lot. It's a zombies survival scavenging sort of game. But when you look at this gun range, it's pretty clear that the designers have never really been to a gun range and haven't put a whole lot of thought into it. They've got a range that ends up looking really cool, and it's fun to, play through, but it's not a realistic range in any way. I mean, I have done various work with ranges in terms of helping with compliance and so forth. And so we'll go through this and we'll talk about the safety failures that we see through this and the design failures. So I've got myself a little drink. Let's have a look. All right, so we'll just bring it up here. There's not that many guns in this game. It's not sort of a game about a variety of firearms, but so we see Shotgun Messiah, and there's, of course, the American flag there in the background. Now, I'm Canadian, so I don't know how much the American flag motif is really a thing there, but yeah, I'm not going to comment on that. They've got a little storefront here, which is, looted because it's the apocalypse. And yeah, there are a bunch of ranges that do have a little storefront. So we start off here, and there's just a really simple aspect here. This isn't too bad. There's no indication that these lights are sort of... Often you'd have a light to indicate something like, is somebody downrange, or if the range is, safe to use or the like. But I actually do like that they've got these tables, although usually you wouldn't have the tables lined up with the walls. You'd actually have them lined up as potential shooting sites. So sandbags I've never seen at a range, but that doesn't mean it couldn't happen. So this doesn't look too bad. You've got your targets here, and I don't usually see dummies. There's no reason why they couldn't, but ranges usually don't like that because it would mean for a lot of plastic and cleanup. But I'm assuming that this is just intended to be a storage thing and not an actual range. But one of the problems we're going to see right here, this doesn't look too bad in terms of layout until we look over the wall and we see it's not a thick metal wall, and behind there is streets. So that's a city back there. The straw hay bales are not going to do a damn thing to stop anything. So this is an extremely unsafe setup. You just, for all you know, there's a kid there on his paper route. If there's still paper routes, I might be dating myself here, but yeah. That, I assume, is just decorative, so I'm not going to dunk on them for that. But now we get out here. And out here, there is all sorts of problems. Let's start over this way. So we've got this little metal structure here. As I noted, that metal structure is not going to stop bullets from a whole lot of things, including the rifle that I've got, in the game here. But they've got little targets, they've got the dummies. Great, move and they've got the same thing on the other side. So this is a two-sided range, which is a terrible design, especially because from here you can't necessarily see if there's somebody on the other side potentially shooting at you. I would not, I wouldn't want to trust this. Even if you've got a range where they're saying, okay, well, we're going to close it off and you can only shoot the one way here. Ooh, this is not a good design. That is extremely unsafe. Somebody is going to die. Now, we get into some other things here. This maybe isn't the worst, although, the concrete blocks, normally you want as a backstop something like a hill or, a big berm with a lot of soil to it. Not something like a cinder block wall. So I don't know that the cinder block wall is enough here. I also don't know in terms of template angles if this is enough of an angle to be safe, but that's not even our biggest problem. We've got these targets right here. What are they backstopped by? Yeah, that's blue sky. If you're thinking about what is the worst thing to backstop a target with, well, aside from like actual human beings, which we did see where the backstop was, the street, the next worst thing is blue sky, because at that point you don't know where that's going to land. And where it's going to land is going to depend on a bunch of things. What is the wind that day? Because bullets are objects and they're affected by physics. So the wind actually will blow them from, in one angle or another. So when you start talking about lobbing them in an arc, into space, into nowhere, that the wind and other atmospheric factors can affect sort of where it'll land. But the other thing is, how much power is behind the cartridge? How much does the bullet itself weigh? So you're going to create this incredibly large danger zone out into nowhere. Uh, so that's just pretty awful. Now, there is this little tower here where they might have you, you might be saying, oh, well, you could take the shot from up here. But it's still blue sky back there. It's still open air. And the other thing is, oh, look, we're supposed to be coming up here to, to shoot targets. And, oh, right, that's a target right here behind me. So, yeah, we've got another incidence of a two-sided range here. That's not what I'm looking for in a shooting range. I really don't want to be shot as I go about, go about things. We've also got targets that are set up back this way. And so where are these supposed to be engaged from? Well, it looks like if we sort of move around here, all of these targets are probably intended to be engaged from out that way, outside the range. Just people wandering around outside. That is a really bad idea. In theory, you could potentially be talking about engaging them from here, but again, that is a lot of blue sky, and, who knows where those land. And that direction, if we look at this sort of route, that's back into town. We're going to be, if you actually engage from there, you're going to be bouncing rounds into the city. We've got another target up there, and there's staircases up there that let you get up and around. So what we've really got here is a range that is, there's nothing resembling proper backstops. Some of this stuff is, I don't know if anything here, these are marked as explosive, but I don't think they actually, blow up, which is a good thing. But yeah, this is a really unsafe sort of range. It's hard to imagine where this target would be engaged from other than sort of right here on the ground. And yeah. So, I mean, this is not, it's a fun environment. It's, if there were zombies in here, and I pre-cleared them out doing a walkthrough, so, we don't have any zombies right now. But it is fun when you're shooting the zombies here. This would actually make for a great airsoft range or, scenario or paintball field. Especially if you, located this far enough out that a paintball isn't going to land outside of the area, or if you put up netting or something, this would be great. But as a gun range, if you tried to design this in real life, the chief firearms officer would never approve this. And, I mean, people would die. So, as much as it can be fun in a game, this is, it kind of suggests to me that, if they're trying to make this look like a real gun range, that they probably didn't have experience with actual gun ranges. Now, that might be unfair to them, because an actual gun range is kind of boring when you get down to, what actually is involved in a gun range, because they're typically a lot of lanes that just kind of go down towards a berm, or else they're indoors with lanes that go down towards something, a wall that's designed to capture rounds to prevent them from ricocheting and so forth. But yeah, I mean, every time I play this game, this bit, it's fun, but it always makes me just kind of cringe a little bit and go, really? Like, is this really what we're looking at here in terms of our gun range design? especially because a lot of other buildings, they actually put a fair bit of effort into making them kind of have some realism to them. So this one always takes me a little bit out of the game. Thank you for watching. That was a little more lighthearted, less serious, and a little shorter than my usual content, but let me know in the comments below if you like that, or you want to see more of this, or more of the in-depth case commentary. I also want to thank my Patreon supporters at the $50 level, Canada's National Firearms Association, CCFR, and the Canadian Shooting Sports Association. At the $30 level, Sights and Arms Limited and Marc-Olivier Damour. And at the $20 level, Peter Hilger, Mark Whittington, Jane Babin Luxer, Haywire, Dale Nesbitt, Cameron Johnson, Bruno R., Andrew Elsich, and Rick J.D. Thank you for watching, and I also want to thank all of my $10 supporters who will be in the crawl immediately following. Thank you, and I hope that you at least had some fun with this one. Till next time.